Welcome to Inside Games Daily, the only gaming news show brave enough to tell you that Xbox would really love to stop making consoles if it could.
Yeah, well, technically, former Xbox executive Peter Moore was the executive brave enough to tell you that, but we're here to repeat it for the sake of beautiful games media.
A lot of people have been saying for, I want to say, like last year or so, that it doesn't want to make hardware. It wants to start publishing games only, and the move to PlayStation has sort of been the thing. But Peter Moore actually joined Daniel Pena and Paris Lilly, friends of ours, for the Gamertag radio podcast, and a look back at the Xbox 360's 20th anniversary.
In the interview, which is fantastic, I really recommend everybody go and listen to it, Moore described a pretty combative relationship between the Xbox division and the logistics of actually making and releasing hardware.
Look, if they had the choice, would they make hardware? No. Would they be delighted if they could be a multi-$100 billion entity delivering content directly to television, to whatever monitor you choose to play on? You bet.
Moore said Xbox was losing money left, right, and center with the original Xbox, which prompted them to launch the Xbox 360 generation earlier.
It's an inflection point. There's a law of diminishing returns in video games that if you haven't sold in enough units, and even worse, if your attach rate of software to hardware is below where you were projected, you're just hemorrhaging cash. And we were. I mean, the good news is we were Microsoft, so we could afford to hemorrhage cash, taking the long view of where we wanted to go in the industry.
Also, in terms of, inflection points, they had their sights focused really early on Xbox Live, a subscription service that has now become ubiquitous in gaming. We all kind of got used to it, but it was pretty new back then. So it makes sense if they're targeting this monthly revenue, which they're still doing with Game Pass, by the way. It makes sense that they need to get a new platform out that can really support it and start to spread those service hooks that were very sticky in the 2000s.
Yeah, and Phil Spencer has really said these strategies over and over and over. I mean, Lawrence and I have reported on this so many times, and everyone's always surprised. Every time they're always like, really? No, really, yes. Phil Spencer has been doing this for a very long time. The Game Pass push and the subscription push has been going for 10 years, I want to say. And this is on top of the Xbox Live push, so.
Yeah, and there's a reason, because the margins on that revenue are so much higher than having to research a box for 2 years, get contracts with manufacturers to make all the parts, put it together, get a package designer to put it all in a nice little cardboard box for you, load them up onto ships, move them out to retailers, tell people to go to retailers and buy it. If you could just say, hey, go to this website, log in, bang, all your games, $20 a month or whatever, they get to cut out a massive and very risky part of their business, and also a really high margin part, a low margin part of their business, and replace it with a bunch of free money. It reminds me of how Netflix, like they got to hammer in and get all the subscription money, but unlike the past, they didn't have to invent a new medium to do it. You know, they didn't need a Netflix disc player and sell you Netflix discs just so they could start getting some money off of their install base. They just needed a TV connected to the internet, and then they got your $15 a month or whatever it is now, $45 a month. I don't know. It's really interesting to hear about this side of the business because, yeah, Bruce, like you said, Phil's been very honest about trying to decouple the Xbox brand and the Xbox service from Xbox hardware. We see it very directly in Xbox games coming to PS5, or at least they will soon. But yeah, they want your login and they want your money every month.
Yep, it's really interesting too because I saw Forza Motorsport, or I think Forza Horizon 5 is coming to PlayStation, and that the article I kept reading was, you're going to need a Microsoft account. And I was like, yes, that's exactly what, of course. They want your data because they're going to sell your data, and that's part of the whole subscription service. Again, there's, like Lawrence said, it's such high margins on all that stuff. If all they need is an account on top of Forza on a PlayStation, they can make money hand over fist. And if they don't have to sell a box, oh my gosh, it's just, that's exactly what they want.
Yep. And also traditionally, Microsoft has always been a software and service company. They've, despite owning the operating system on every PC, with a handful of very weird and rare exceptions, Microsoft doesn't sell you PCs. They just sell you the software on it, because that's a lot easier, safer, cheaper. I noticed this too. This kind of links into another headline I saw this week. Sony launched a rental service for the PS5 in England. You can rent one for about $15 a month, 11 GBP, 11 pounds. To me, that's evidence that the box and selling the box at MSRP, and the fact that it's all rented out, by the way, super popular program, but they want the box in your home, and that's more important than getting one-time payment of $500, $600, $700. Because if you're logging into PlayStation and you're buying digital games and you're paying the markup that they put on them all, they're going to get all that money back they would have gotten on the sale of a box. So yeah, that's paramount. And right now Sony's winning both, which is good for them, really good for them. So, but Microsoft is clearly re-examining their strategies. At that point, we got a nice little rumor for you.
Weirdly, counterpoint to all the stuff we just said. Xbox hardware rumors are they're everywhere, which is really strange. Windows Central reports after 3 paragraphs of shoe leather in that article that Xbox is working with a handheld PC manufacturer to make an Xbox branded handheld codenamed Keenan for this year. So it's gonna be like a ROG Ally with Xbox branding, styling, and a dedicated guide button.
Yeah, this is really smart. I've been using my ROG Ally as a mobile Xbox for a couple of years now, and it's perfectly suited to it. You just have to get through the little like UI process of getting through Windows and launching the Xbox app. So pretty cool. We'll see how it plays out. I'm curious what the pickup will be.
Yeah, they also report that a high-powered successor to the Xbox Series X has been greenlit all the way up to Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, right now slated for 2027. So I would imagine that Nadella just has to approve it, and then they'll launch the thing in a couple of years. Because I mean, pretty much guaranteed that PlayStation's going to launch this PS6 in 2027 because they sold so well the PS5, so they have to capitalize on that popularity. So then what does Xbox do? This is an interesting question. Do they try and compete because they got beaten this generation so badly? Or do they just throw it out the window and say, you know what, whatever, it's all a subscription now?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think that's probably the question on Satya Nadella's mind as he's reaching for that approved rubber stamp to like throw whatever money they're going to throw at this thing. One of the interesting notes about it that Windows Central reported is that this next Xbox, it's going to be more PC-like than ever before, I guess, in terms of architecture. This is a convergence we've seen, every hardware generation. Everything's kind of converging on unified hardware, which is great for enthusiasts like us because it makes systems a little easier to crack open and also to emulate later. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense because if they need to court developers this way, if you make a game on PC, which is a flourishing platform right now, if it's you just hit one button and you move it onto Xbox and it's no extra cost, we'll even do it for you maybe, that makes it a lot easier to get content in that ecosystem, which is what they want.
Xbox and Windows have always sort of worked together, but I feel like they're working together more than ever before. And Windows, a lot of people are kind of upset about the fact that Windows is really pushing the subscription portion of like OneDrive and like 365 and all this other stuff. So again, like we were talking about, pushing toward that subscription service, less hardware, more software for Windows. So if you unite the Windows and the Xbox brand, I think this is what Nadella is thinking about. If you put all of this together, and then you can be like, okay, well, I can sell games that are published by Xbox, but on anything, PC, PlayStation, a random Xbox, a Roku, whatever, then you've reached the entire market versus just the Xbox console.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you remove that pesky little middle layer where you have to sell people another box to get them into your ecosystem. And maybe even someday you can put your ecosystem on competitors' hardware if the money shakes out, which is, maybe a distant dream, but at least now Xbox Game Studios games are coming to other platforms. So yeah, what I've always wondered about, and to some degree, independent platform makers are making this sort of thing, but like Xbox needs a big picture mode, kind of like Steam. So in the sense that I use my handheld as an Xbox or a PC Game Pass machine, I download games, play it. I guess if you're really handy enough, you could write your own scripts to launch the Xbox app in full screen mode as soon as your PC starts up. I know the ROG Ally has it has custom built software to try to replicate that. A full screen experience that tiles all your games and makes it very controller friendly. Yeah, I think if an Xbox co-branded mobile gaming device came out and maybe you turn it on and it just hits you with this choice right away. Do you want to play it in console mode or PC mode? You go boop and then it just launches a full screen Xbox app. Maybe it even looks exactly like the UI on a normal Xbox. And from there you can navigate and pick your games. I think then the disparity between games for Xbox console and games for Xbox service is going to get real confusing. That's maybe why they haven't done it yet, because they're not ready for a complete convergence of platform. But that's maybe something that can move the needle. And I've been looking for what is Microsoft going to do? How are they going to try to get in on the GTA 6 action this year? Because that's going to be a major mover. You want to be a part of that business. I thought they were just ceding all the hardware ground to PlayStation because they've got the PS5 Pro out. that's ostensibly going to be the best way to play GTA 6 this fall, and that sucks for Xbox if they want to get any piece of that action. So maybe PS5 Pro is the living room way to play it, but if you're on the go or you have, limited time, I know that PlayStation has the PlayStation Portal, but maybe the sales pitch Microsoft is going to go with is, hey, we got GTA 6 running on this tiny little guy that you can take with you anywhere. Sure, PS5 Pro can do 4K 4K 60 with PSSR, whatever, but you can play it on a fucking plane if you want with Xbox. So, I don't know. It'll be an interesting sales pitch, and maybe they're going after a market that PlayStation's already locked down and they don't feel like fighting them for it. Also, Switch 2. I don't know. There's a lot of crossover there between like games that'll run on a Switch 2 and games that could run on a mobile Xbox.
Lawrence, you just sold me on a mobile Xbox for GTA 6. If they're the only one that could push that mobile experience for GTA 6, like Switch 2, I don't think so. But maybe eventually, but I don't know about at launch. But if Xbox can do that and they release this hardware and they're like, it's perfect for GTA 6 on the go, I'm kind of in. You kind of got me on that one, and I would never have even considered that. So because we can't play GTA 6 on PC, obviously, because we're going to wait at least a year for that one. So you've definitely got me sold on the Xbox handheld if they could do that. Boy, somebody should put you in contact with Satya Nadella.
I'm sure he's already. Well, I'd like to hope he's already thinking of it. Hopefully Phil was sending panicked emails for the last 3 years of like, what do we got for GTA 6? We need something. And I guarantee you they've been discussing it. So yeah, I've been waiting to see what the play is. What's the co-branding? What's the co-marketing? That's, I guess, pretty powerful, especially for a generation of gamers that have played GTA for 20 years now and maybe don't have 6 hours to sit on the couch and play a game off of a big beefy console.
I hope Microsoft is watching this episode. I really do. Hey, thanks again to our Inside Games patrons. They support our Patreon every single month, and they got their hands on the Xbox Series smiley face emoji. Is that a piece of hardware that they got? Lenny Neves was the person that did that.
I just like imagining Xbox's branding department where they come up with these names and Xbox Series smiley face? I don't know. Anyway, Bruce, that's yesterday's console. It's old, it's busted, nobody's playing it. This patron is already playing games on the Xbox, but it's spelled ECKS box.
Got it.
Xbox. Okay. It's totally new. And that's Rook. Rook's got the inside track. So thank you again for the support, and we'll see you tomorrow on Inside Games Daily.